We must preserve difference. We must preserve heterogeneity. You know, when the academic left says this, almost all the time, we usually mean heterogeneity we like.
The big buzzword on college campuses is diversity, diversity, diversity. We talk about diversity of skin color. We talk about having different ethnicities come to campus. We have affirmative action programs, that type of thing. The university is totally ignoring diversity of thought.
Many schools have offices dedicated to enforcing diversity. At Stanford, the Diversity Office pledges to create an environment that welcomes and appreciates differences. But among the humanities and social science departments studied by Dan Klein, Stanford has a lopsided ratio of 144 to 10. I guess the Diversity Office isn't doing such a great job.
Hi. Could you tell me where the Diversity Office is?
Are you looking for Rosa?
She's not here. Oh, do you know when she might be back?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know where she is.
She's not out today, is she?
No, she was here. I saw her. Sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. Thanks a lot. Take care.
It was almost noon, so maybe the office was closed for lunch. I tried again a little bit later.
Hello.
Hi, what are you doing?
I'm looking for the Diversity Office. Do you happen to know where she is?
Probably at a meeting.
Oh, okay. Is it all right if we wait?
I don't know when she's coming back.
We've got time. Someone earlier told us that she saw her here.
There's no one here.
We came in here about an hour and a half
I'm sorry,
ago.
there is no one here.
Well, we'll just sit right here. We won't bother anybody. We just had a couple of questions. I mean, maybe if...
I'm going to make a phone call.
As I waited for the Diversity Office to reopen, I overheard the woman calling the police. They never would have found me based on her description, so I figured I'd help out a bit.
I'll give her my identification if she needs it, so she doesn't have to give such a vague
Well,
description.
he's got on a t-shirt and
If you
green
need my,
khaki pants.
Here's all my information.
I don't need it, sir.
Okay.
Out front of the building.
Are you looking for Rosa?
Yeah.
She's in and out a lot.
We'd be happy to wait. I mean,
It
you know,
could be forever.
we've got nothing else to do today.
As we waited, our other friends stood guard. And when one woman came by, she was warned not to come in.
Is that Rosa? Can we...
I have no idea. If you'd like to go find out.
You don't know if this is Rosa?
No, I don't.
You don't know who works in your own office?
Yeah, that's it. In this tiny little office that holds maybe 10 people, this woman, who says she's the office manager, has absolutely no idea what her coworker looks like. Was I ever going to get a chance to ask this elusive Rosa about the Diversity Office? I guess not.
Hi, how are you? Evan Maloney, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How are you? I'm gonna have to ask you guys to, I guess the building would like you to step outside for a second.
We just had two very simple questions for the Diversity Office to see how diverse the Diversity Office really is. And, you know, I can understand they're uncomfortable questions for Stanford University.
What would you like me to do to help you out here?
It looks like we're shut down, so we'll mosey on. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you.
Take care.
See you guys later.
All right.
Good luck with the rest of your film.
Enjoy the day.
I will.
Those cops could not have been nicer.
To this day, the Diversity Office still hasn't explained why Stanford's faculty has so little intellectual diversity. Maybe they're so busy making sure people look different that they really don't care if everyone thinks the same. So the question is, does any of this really matter? The American Council of Trustees and Alumni commissioned a study to find out.
Study after study has outlined the political imbalance in the classroom in terms of the registration of faculty members. What the American Council of Trustees and Alumni thought was missing was the piece, what was the effect in the classroom? Because despite all of these studies about political registrations, the academic community essentially said that this was not a problem. They denied it was an issue, and they said that faculty members left their politics at the classroom door. We wanted to find out, is that true? So we went to the students themselves. We wanted to ask them, what is your sense of the atmosphere in your classroom? Is it an open exchange of ideas? Are you encouraged to raise questions? Are there topics that are off limits that you can't talk about? What really are you finding in your classroom, and do you have the freedom to learn? And what we found was a significant percentage of students complained that politics was being introduced into their classroom, and that it was not, in fact, being left at the college door as the academic community had indicated. 49% of the students said that politics was introduced in class even when it had nothing to do with the subject.
French literature, you'll have the professor opining on the war in Iraq.
If you want to take a class on ecology, it's going to be ecology and politics.
In English classes, it's not political science, it's not humanities, it's English.
I've been learning in geography class that gender is socially constructed.
I really don't know why issues such as global warming and globalization and militarism are brought up in a class of German literature.
I took organic chemistry last semester. I never knew that carbon chains had anything to do with politics, but they do.
She talked about a discussion of Iraq in her class, a class, by the way, in Romance languages, had nothing to do with Iraq, and that the students were uncomfortably silent. And she treated this as a sense that the students were not politically aware enough. I would interpret this as the students wanted to learn about Romance languages, not about the professor's view on Iraq.
Another professor who felt very strongly about it gave extra credit for students precinct walking for Democratic candidates, but would not allow extra credit for anybody else.
Yeah, there are some classrooms, including sometimes mine, in which conservatives might not feel entirely comfortable. In some cases, it may involve not knowing whether the professor is grading you fairly, and that's the real issue.
Nearly a third of the students say that they felt that their grade would be in danger if they did not agree with the perspective of the professor. That is a substantial number.
They're afraid to give their viewpoint in class because they know it won't be tolerated, and they're afraid because their grade is in jeopardy.
He said something about, oh, don't worry, I don't have any biases against anyone except Republicans.
When I got my final paper back, he wrote something about how it seemed that my libertarian perspective on every issue seemed to distance me from the class. If you want to participate in mainstream discussion, the kind of discussion that I want in my classrooms, you're going to have to shift from that and start moving towards where the rest of us are.
We have to do our evaluations. One of the questions was, what did you learn in this class? And she said, well, I'm going to write that I learned how to conform my beliefs to fit my TAs so I can get a decent grade.
We just put down what he says and we turn our papers, and that's all we have to do.
I can write about this topic that's more liberal, and it'll be a lot easier. I'm a lot less likely to be challenged.
You were kind of just going to have to regurgitate what he had said and what he believed in order to get the good grade.
Education becomes a spectator sport.
I often give them a statement in quotation marks and ask them to agree or disagree. I've noticed that most of them, whatever I put in quotes, most of them will agree with. This is right, and there's something wrong here.
What most faculty want is for students to validate their pathetic life experiences. If we were secure, we would have different jobs. But we're faculty, and so we want people to agree with us, to nod, to write stuff down as if it were important.
And that's what passes as education.
And classrooms aren't the only places you'll find university employees pushing politics. Schools often pay people to operate administrative offices that are blatantly political in nature. Take, for instance, the Office of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Awareness at Bucknell University. This office held events and sent campus-wide emails telling students to support gay marriage. Now, whether or not you support gay marriage is beside the point. The question is, should paid university employees be actively encouraging students